So this year for 7th grade science, at home you're going to be watching your lectures through video podcasts. So what you'll do is you'll watch the podcast and you'll take notes. A general rule of thumb is however long the podcast is, if you double that amount of time, that's how much time you should spend on the podcast. So the podcasts usually range anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes. So if it's 2 minutes long, then you'd want to spend about 4 minutes with the podcast. If it is 10 minutes long, then you'd want to spend about 20 minutes with the podcast. So you're probably wondering what we're going to do in class. So in class, we're not going to be taking notes anymore. What you will be doing is we'll have more time for hands-on activities. We'll do a lot of science labs, a bunch of group work, and have some really great class discussions. I also will have more time for one-on-one and small group instruction. So in order to be successful for science this year, it's going to be really important that you do watch and listen to the podcasts. If you do not watch the podcast, you're going to have a very hard time being successful this year. A second thing is when you're watching the podcast, make sure that you're actually focused and watching it. Don't get distracted, such as TVs or texting your friends or playing video games. You want to make sure you're really focused on that podcast. A third thing, which is really helpful, is to pause to take notes. So if there's something important to write down, make sure that you pause and then you take the notes and then you can move on. And then the fourth thing is if you don't understand something, make sure that you rewind it. Or if you dozed off and you missed it, rewind it, go back, watch it again, try again. If you still don't get something, write down your question so that way I can answer it in class with you. In order to view the podcast, you're going to find them on our class Science Edmodo page. And each class will have a specific Edmodo page, so you'll find them right from the post or also in this specific unit folder in that Edmodo. Also, you can watch the podcast right from your iPad or from another home, school, or library electronic device, such as a computer or a laptop. Last year, I also had students watching them on their cell phones or their iPods. After you watch the podcast, you want to make sure that you bring your notes to class. It is so very important that you bring your notes to class, and I can't stress it enough how important it is that you have your notes in class. You'll need to use your notes for warm-ups, also for the science labs, for different activities we do, for your class discussions. In order to participate, you'll need your notes and also group work. So please do not forget your notes at home. Make sure to bring them to class. It is so very important. So if you have any questions, please write those down and bring them to class, or you can message me through Edmodo. I want to make sure I answer all your questions, but I look forward to seeing you in class, and I know we are going to have a great year.